Welcome to INAN's Student. INAN Student is a platform for law students to come here and deliver a lecture on the topic of their choice. Today we have with us law student Selma Anil Dcunha. She is going to speak on analysis of Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2015. She is from KES Shri Jayantilal Patel College of Law. So without wasting further time, I would request her to commence with her lecture. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Namaste and a very good morning. I am Selma Anil Dcunha, studying in TYLLB at KES Law College, Kandivali West. Today I am here to talk about and to discuss about rules, regulations and laws for the children. India is the largest democratic country in the world. So we do have laws and regulations for the children to protect their right and to protect the children. And it is known as Juvenile Justice Act 2015. Children are not merely the responsibility of their parents, but it is the responsibility of the state, of the society also, to protect the right of the children, to provide them with such a good opportunities and facilities to grow and to develop into their best potential level. Justice B.L. Hansaria began his judgment in the case of M.C. Mehta versus State of Tamil Nadu 1996 case, quoting with the following poignant verses from the poem The Child's Appeal. I would like to recite that poem for you all. I am the child. All the world waits for my coming. All the earth watches with interest to see what I shall become. Civilization hangs in the balance. For what I am, the world of tomorrow will be. I am the child. You hold in your hand my destiny. You determine very largely whether I should succeed or fail. Give me, I pray you, all those things that are made for happiness. Train me, I beg you, for I may be a blessing to the whole world. And for that reason, it is very well said that it takes a village to raise a child. Our Indian Constitution also recognizes the importance of children in the country's growth. The child's welfare was an important factor, important object in the minds of the framer, that it is reflected in its provision also. If we see Article 15, Subclause 3, it enables the state to make a special provision for the child's growth. Then there is Article 21A, right to free compulsory elementary education from the age group of 6 to 14 years. Then Article 24, right to be protected from hazardous employment till the child gets 14 years of age. Then there are directive principles of state policy also. Article 39 subclause E and Article 39 subclause F prescribes that a children should be provided with such a good opportunities and facilities to grow in a good healthy manner. Then there should be guaranteed protection of the youth and children, protection against exploitation and protection against moral material abandonment. The preamble of the UNRC, that is United Nations Declarations Right of the Children 1959, points out that the child, by reason of his mental and physical immaturity, needs special protection, safeguard, care, and all the mankind owes to the child the best it has to offer and give, as children are supremely important assets of the nations, and all these has greatly influenced in our country in shaping and framing the juvenile justice regime. So Juvenile Justice Act came into the force on 15th January 2016. It consists of total 112 sections and 10 chapters. In order to establish more robust and effective justice system for children that incorporates both deterrent as well as reformative approaches. There is a legal maxim, Dolly in capax. You must have heard this Latin term, and law blindly believes this Latin term Dolly in capax, which states that a child cannot form a criminal intent to commit a crime. A child is incapable of to commit a crime. Whether a child is matured enough or not to commit a crime, it depends upon the maturity level of that child, depends upon the age of that child. But nowadays, children are getting matured enough day by day earlier. Children are growing very fast with the help of technology. So, who is decide that whether a child is accused of a crime? Who decides the maturity level of the child? So, it's a JJB board, Juvenile Justice Board. So, Juvenile Justice Board is an Indian quasi-judicial body before which a child in conflict with law is being brought, and it is constituted under section 4 of the JJ Act 2015. Juvenile Justice Board is formed by the state government. A JJB study about the age that determines the maturity level of the child, its nature, and whether the child should be exempted from the criminal liability that depends upon that child's maturity level and depends upon that age. So, it's JJB board who determines whether a juvenile accused of a crime shall be tried as an adult or not. Juvenile Justice Board shall consist of the following: a metropolitan magistrate, then a judicial magistrate of first class, not being chief metropolitan magistrate, then a chief judicial magistrate referred to as principal magistrate for having minimum 3 years of experience in law field. Then there are 2 social workers, of whom one shall be a woman, and these all persons form together a Juvenile Justice Board bench, JJB bench. Social workers shall be appointed on members of the board, those who are actively participated in any health, education and child welfare activities, who are having minimum 7 years of experience, or practicing professionals, those who have with the degree in child psychology or child sociology or psychiatry or law. Now, there are some powers of JJB. Under section 15 of the JJ Act, JJB has the power to conduct a preliminary assessment of the child who falls under the section of 16 to 18 years of age, and the child who is convicted of some heinous crime. So, it's JJB board who conducts that child's preliminary assessment and then determines whether the child's mental and physical capacity to commit that crime is there or not. Then the ability to understand the consequences of that offense. Then the circumstances and surroundings of that alleged offense. Then it can hold an inquiry under section 17 and section 18 of the JJ Act, and then it can pass an order as per these sections. Then there are some functions of the JJB. When the child is being brought before JJB board, it investigates the case, the matter thoroughly. Then it decides on bail. Then makes a decision for the child's welfare and also oversees the child's rehabilitation and social reintegration. So, all this procedure is given under section 4 up to under section 26 of JJ Act. And who is handling all this matter? So, it's JJB board and Special Juvenile Police Unit, SJPU. So, when the child's inquiry is being going on, that time a child is kept in observation home under section 47, and after the conviction, after the inquiry is getting over, the child is being sent to the rehabilitation home or a special home under section 48. But keep it in mind that children will never be sent to the jail. They shall not be kept in a jail, as it is the atmosphere of the jail which has a highly injurious effect on the minds of the children. Now let us see who is the juvenile, who is called a juvenile. The word juvenile originates from the Latin term juvenis, which means strange, which means young. The word juveniles originates from the Latin term which means young. The juvenile is a child who has not attained the age of maturity level or majority at which he could understand the difference between the right or wrong. A juvenile is a child who cannot understand and who cannot held be liable for the criminal act like an adult person under the court of law. A juvenile should not be treated as an adult even after he is involved in any criminal act in the court of law for the punishment and trial purpose. But there is some exception to this also. If a child is falling under the age of 16 to 18 years and if he is committed some heinous crime, then it is upon the court is open to take a decision whether the child, a juvenile, should be treated as an adult or not, and that too also only in some exceptional cases. We have seen in that Nirbhaya cases that one of the accused was a juvenile and he was treated under the juvenile under the children's court. In India, a juvenile is differentiated from an adult when it comes to any crime committed by that juvenile. So the act recognizes three types of offences: petty offences, serious offences and heinous offences. Petty offences fall and defines under the section 2 subclause 45. That means the maximum punishment is up to 30 years. Serious offences are defined under section 2 subclause 54. For that, maximum punishment is from 3 years to 7 years. Then there are heinous crimes, section defined under section 2 subclause 33. The maximum punishment is 7 years and more. So juveniles and conflict in law can commit a crime like theft, burglary, dacoity, robbery, riot, grievous hurt, assault on women, rape, murder, kidnapping, cheating, counterfeiting and rash driving. So JJ Act, where a child is defined under section 212 and juvenile is defined under section 2 subclause 35, and both the term meaning the same: someone who is less than 18 years of age. But JJ Act recognizes two categories of children. One who is committed a crime, that child is known as a child in conflict with law, and the other category is a child who is the victim of the crime or circumstances. That child fall under the category of a child need in care of and protection. So children, those who are in conflict with law, are defined in the section 2 subclause 13 in JJ Act, means a child who is either committed a crime or an offense or has been found to have committed an offense, and when the crime was happened, when he committed that crime, that time that child was below 18 years of age. So that category of children are known as child in conflict with law. So basically, child in conflict with law means a child who is committing a crime and that time he was below 18 years of age. Now let us go on to the second category of the child, that is a child in need of care and protection, and it is defined under section 2 subclause 14. So a child in need of care and protection means a child who is found without any home or without any settled place of abode, or without any ostensible means of subsistence, then a child who is found working in contraventions of the labor law for the time being in force, or a child who is found begging or roaming on the street and living on the street, then a child who resides with a person, whether that person a guardian or some any other person, and such person has injured, exploited, abused or neglected that child, or has violated any right of that child, or if that person has threatened to kill, abuse or injure or exploit that child, or that person may have killed or abused or exploited some other children or some other child, and there is reasonable likelihood of the child being in question being killed or abused or exploited, then the children, those who are mentally ill or mentally and physically handicapped or challenged or suffering from some terminal diseases, and there is no one to look after that children, then children those who don't have parents and no one is willing to look after that children, then children who has parents, who has guardian, but they are unfit to look after that children, and if it is proved by the JJB board and by child welfare committee, then a child who is missing or runaway child from home, who is surrender, who is abandoned, who is lost, and that child's parent cannot be found after making some reasonable inquiries, then a child who has been or is being or is likely to be abused, tortured or exploited for the purpose of some illegal act, for sexual abuse, for drug trafficking or for some unconsignable gains, then a child who is found at vulnerable stage, a child who is being or is likely to be inducted into drug trafficking, and a child who is the victim of or affected by the civil unrest, the armed conflict and of some natural calamities. And the last one is the child who is at imminent risk of child marriage before attaining the age of majority, and the children's parents or his relatives or guardians are responsible for solemnization of such marriage. So I hope you all must have understand today's analysis of the JJ Act, what is the meaning of the JJB board, and who are the two children the JJ Act is recognizing: child in conflict with law and child in need of care and law. So JJ Act is a comprehensive and forward thinking law that specifies how to handle with these two categories of children. This act emphasizes the need to provide juvenile with space for transformation, reformation and for improvement. This is a specialized justice system specially made for the children, which ensures that the children are not regarded or treated as an adult. Instead of, they should be treated and prosecuted like in a child friendly manner, as children, today's children are tomorrow's citizen and they are the property, assets of any nations. So their childhood should not be robbed by anyone. Thank you so much.
Selma, thank you very much. It was nice to hear the entire overview of the Juvenile Justice Act, and you had also quoted a poem, so
Yes.
it was a very interesting thing to hear you. A small token from Hammurabi to you.
Thank you so much, sir.